A new one. Blessings on your journey, little one. Blessings on your journey.
Yeah, welcome to the dream.
Your mama's going to accept these blessings for you right now to keep them in holding for when you're able to receive them yourself. Breathe. Let go of everything else. Vinka, breathe. Let go of everything else. You've got a lot of energy going on as well. It's just energy. You got to feel it. Right. Good. Breathe. Just let that happen, Gemma. Don't adjust to it. Let it happen. Let it come up. Let it be whatever it needs to be. Breathe. Anthea, look down. Look down. Down, down, down. Take some deep breaths. Feel looking down. Yes. Good. Nice beanie, Tina.
Thank you.
So we're storytellers. We're storytellers. It's a bad habit. That's good, Anthea. Breathe. Connect. It doesn't matter what you feel. What you feel is only a definition that you give to it. The fact that you feel anything at all is a miracle in a realm where it's designed to eliminate you from every kind of genuine experience possible. I feel the call of God. Vivian, I feel the call of God. Vinka, I feel God calling me. This irritation inside, or this something inside. I feel this something. I feel like I'm here to do something. There's a purpose that I have. There must be. I'm feeling that there's more. It's God. Vinka. Vinka. Calling you from the void. Anthea. Breathe. I feel the stirring of his strength in me. So there's two things that happens. I feel the stirring of his strength in me, and then I get away from it. That's what happens. I feel the stirring of his strength in me, and it stirs love. It stirs love. It stirs all of those passions and deep-rooted longing to just love everyone and be loved. Good, Gemma. Breathe. It stirs love. If you're going to vomit, vomit. That's okay. Breathe. And when I feel that love, because my fundamental programming has been to deny it, I don't remember what that love is. So I make up a story about what I think it is, and I'm always going to be wrong. What is this I'm feeling? Maybe I'm going crazy. What is this thing that I feel inside me? What is this sort of sense that, you know, the mind has to put it in a pigeonhole. All I'm telling you is don't put it in a pigeonhole. Just let it be. Just let it be. Love is not what you think love is. Love has nothing to do with how you define love and put it in jail and put it in those little prison boxes that you want to. This person doesn't love me because they cheated on me, or this person doesn't love me because they don't give me back what I give them. This person can't accept my love because my love's too much and their love doesn't know how to include me in it. All of these sorts of ridiculous ideas and stories that we have about what love is or isn't, what love should be or shouldn't be, rather than just leaving it to be itself. Perfect in every moment. It's perfect in every moment. If someone's banging on your door, railing in your face for $10 you owe them, that's love. In this world, that's love. It's like, wow. Wow, help me to see this differently. I want to react to it. I want to say something about it. I want to define it. I want to have my say. Why? You don't even know what the meaning of life is. What are you going to say? What are you going to say to anything? The most honest response to anything would be, hey, I don't know how to respond to this. I don't know what to say. I'm just going to say yes, wow, and thank you, and see where that goes. I'm just going to include everything in and see how that pans out. Gemma's gone to get a bucket. Hello, little Gemma. Aren't you straight out of the woods, a little fairy? Hey? Yeah, I can see you. I can see you. All right, so we had a pretty good session yesterday, and I had people turn up right towards the end of it, so I had to bail out. But my house is starting to get a little bit busy from time to time on the weekends. I have people turning up and things happening, and so I had the fix-it man up yesterday for my truck. He came to fix my cupboards, so that was nice. So now I have cupboards you can actually open and then they close again. So everything in time and space has a you know, a pleasing aspect, but it's only at the offset of when it's broken. You know, like I'm happy about it working because it's like I'm unhappy about it being broken. It's like, if it just worked all the time, I wouldn't be happy about it. Get it? If everything in time and space worked perfectly all the time, I'd just be like in the experience of it. It wouldn't mean anything to me. But here I find meaning in being happy, but at the offset of being not unhappy. Right? So, yay, the fix-it man's here. But that's not love either. The action is the love, Gemma. The action is the love. Everything is an action of mind, right? So it's an action of choosing, an action of choice. I choose to see the love in this. I choose to feel the love. Vivian's gone. I choose to feel the love. I choose to see the love. I choose to be that love. It's choice. Choice is an action. You're learning through the mind training again and again and again through doing these little lessons in this book, right? Again and again and again. You're reprogramming your mind from a place where once it would have decided against your best interests, now for your best interests, by realizing, I don't know what my best interests are. Simple as that. And leaving that space open. Leaving the space open. If I was to tell you what your best interests are and gave you a whole list of them, you wouldn't even be able to stick to them. You'd fuck them all up one by one by one, because the nature of the mind in denial is to fuck things up. It doesn't matter how incredible I could give you a list. I mean, look, God gave Moses a list of 10 commandments. 10 things. Just do these 10 things and you'll be happy. Who can do those 10 things? Everyone's like rooting around behind each other's back and killing each other and bloody, you know. But God gave us a list of 10 commandments. God, not some guy at the local corner store. God. Right? But it's because you don't understand. It's the mind that's forgotten God doesn't understand the nature of God, doesn't understand how, oh man, I think every teacher in history has said, if I could actually show you the brilliance of your own being, you would immediately fall on your face. You would immediately just stop whatever you're doing. And like the gates of heaven, when they open, when they part in your mind and you see eternity, you'll be like, holy cow. Everything I've been doing on earth is just absolute fucking rubbish compared to this. It's like I paid all my money. I've given all my life for a holiday to a dump in Mumbai to pick rubbish out of the dump instead of going to bloody Bora Bora with 10 of the penthouse pets, you know, like whatever. It's like it's beyond that. You can't imagine. It's just incredible. It's beyond. Oh, man. It's like my best interests. Like there's 10 commandments, or like my only best interest, according to Jesus, you know, like the Jesus version of the 10 commandments, love yourself and your neighbor and God with all your power and might, you know, you guys should know that one. But trying to even do those 2 commandments, right? It's an uphill battle in this place, where everything is designed to keep you from fulfilling your obligation to performing those 2 commandments. That's it, right? Love your brother, your neighbor as yourself, and God with all your heart and power. That's it, right? But you can't do that on a temporary basis. It's all or nothing. It's all day, every day, or nothing at all. And the process of applying that all day, every day is the action of choosing to be happy in this situation, that situation. I don't know how I'm going to possibly be able to choose to be happy in that situation, but it's like, it's not by my own strength that I forgive, but by the strength of God in me, which I witness to as I become willing to forgive. Okay. Gemma, I'm watching you. That's better. Look at that. There's some rosy cheeks. Vinka, with your rooster crowing 3 times, you'll deny me before the... Anthea, what's going on with you? You look far too happy there, sitting in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Let's put you in the middle of your camera.
Well,
Oh, there you are.
I am happy that I've got a hose attachment that works. I'm very happy about that.
Right. At the expense of it not working.
Yeah, for years. For years I've just lived with a broken house, broken stuff, broken things. So now, you know, the smallest thing I get that works, I am so fucking grateful for it. Yeah. It was only a few dollars, but man, it's good. It's so good. I sent a picture of it to my sister. Apart from that, I've been a bit of an arsehole this week.
Good.
So I've had a bit of guilt.
Good.
Around that.
Good.
Why is it good to be an arsehole?
Well, you've got to see your true nature. There's no point pretending to be spiritual. You got to include everything in. I'm all the arseholes that there is. It's like you can walk around forever pointing the finger at that arsehole and that arsehole, but you wouldn't even know what an arsehole was unless it was you, because you're the one that decides what an arsehole is. Therefore, it's a frame of reference you have in your mind that you use as part of your thought system. In denial of there's the Christ, there's the Christ, there's the Christ. What an arsehole are you? Right. And you're starting to see it. I've been an arsehole. I feel guilty. Right? That's good. Now, do something about it. You're not guilty. God sees no guilt in you. Now, disparity. Now you've got how you see you as feeling guilty, how God sees you as being his guiltless child. Make a choice. I need to forgive one to realize the other. I need to let go of this one to regain my place as this one in my own awareness, not in God's awareness. God's not confused about me, right? All of those situations that show up for you where you've been an arsehole or you've been a whatever. It's like they're opportunities to love. Okay, love thy enemy. Love thy neighbor. Love thy tap. Love thy whatever it is.
The thing is, the person I was horrible to was not even being horrible. They were being nice. And I reacted by just attacking them for no reason.
Because you're insane.
Oh, really?
Right.
that makes sense then.
You think when I say that you're insane, it's only when it's according to definitions of insanity that you classify as insanity. It's not. You're nuts. You're off the edge. The boat's going down. You're crazy.
I don't even mind.
You should start buying cats.
No, I don't. No, I'm not.
You live in a broken home, crazy old lady with a bunch of cats. That's where you're. Right? Luckily, into that equation, forgiveness. Right. The reason that you don't know why you do what you do is because you're insane. Right. Simple. Someone's trying to be nice to you, and you just rag them off, and then now you feel guilty about it. Why did I do that? Why did an 18-year-old kid pick up a gun and go into a school and shoot a bunch of kids? It's the same thing. Why does anyone do anything? Right? But you got to see it where it's at. Oh, I was an arsehole this week. Right. What are you going to be next week if you don't heal that? Right? Because everything snowballs. Everything becomes more and more insane, more and more crazy until you decide, no, that's not what I want. I choose to be happy instead. Right? So there's a process of in the 12-step program, which I really love as a tangible kind of like getting a grip on it if you're a beginner. I think it's step 5 or 6, became willing to make amends to people we have hurt and all that sort of thing, right? There's a whole process of first admitting and then doing something about it. And when I was doing the 12 steps, this is going back many years ago, the people that I had hurt, that I'd been an arsehole to and all of these things, weren't physically present in my environment anymore. They were at other towns, other cities, and like that I'd run away from because like everything got too crazy. But I substituted them with other people in the room. Right? I did a, what do you call that when actors ad lib or whatever? So I chose somebody and I said, do you mind if I express to you, that I say something to you, because I need to get this apology out. I need to get this healing out somehow. Right? It did no good to have it in there. And for all intensive purposes, one brother is all brothers. Right? And I don't remember the particulars of that thing because I've done so many of these things, but it was very liberating to be able to sit with somebody and look them in the eyes and say, I'm sorry for how I behaved. I'm sorry for this, sorry for that, whatever. Even though I'm not guilty of it, of that sorry, right? But allowing that to sort of become a processing mechanism whereby through my action of being willing to put it into form, something else can occur, right? Because that guilt usually has a cap on the top of it. It's like you don't really want to look at that guilt. You don't want to really have to admit to it fully. You can see you feel guilty, but because you dread punishment and because you dread judgment and everything like that, because that's how you work, right? You don't really want to admit it to others. So in the admission of it to others, it's like you're taking that cap off and you're saying, all right, I'm going to allow myself to feel this fully. And part of the process of feeling it fully is the admission of it, right? So you can admit it to somebody else. I'm sorry I did this. I'm sorry I did that, whatever. And it kind of like opens a floodgate. You actually feel good about finally having said something and done something to try and make amends, right? And it becomes it becomes an open space in you rather than something that's all bottled in and you're trying to not feel vulnerable to it. All right. But the guilt is something that you want. The reason that you're an arsehole to somebody is because you want the guilt. You love it. It's another knife in the coffin of God, you know, another nail in God's coffin. Look at me feeling guilty. Fuck you, God. Right? You came here to deny God. And every mechanism in your mind is part of an aspect or a facet of the reflection of the story that's telling you, I'm denying God, and you're denying even the denial of God. I'm not in denial of God, you'll say. I love God. I want God. But let me just be an arsehole to that person for no reason at all. Right? That's where you deny God. In them and in you. It's like, oh, really? I don't want God in that situation. I don't want love. I see that. I was triggered by something. I don't even know why. I don't know what happened. I just was an arsehole and now feel guilty. You feel guilty because you want to deny love. Not because that person did anything. They did nothing. Even if they smack you around the face with a bloody wet fish, they did nothing. Right? Forgiveness sees that what you think your brother did to you has not occurred because you make it up in your own mind. That person hit me with a wet fish. If you went to the circus and sat in the front row, the clown might come up and hit you with a wet fish, and you'd laugh about it. Oh, funny clown hit me with a fish. Oh, and everybody take photos of you with a fish, and you'd be talking about it forever like it was the best thing ever. If somebody in the street just come up and hit you with a wet fish, you'd be like, what the fuck are you doing, you asshole? And you'd tell them off, right? Horses for courses. You don't know why you do anything. Why do I do anything? I don't know why I did that, right? But if you stop for a second and let it in, yes, I do know why I did that. I did that to deny the love that was being presented in that moment. Because I'm crazy. That person was being kind to me. Now, you'll see that reflected in everything. That's why you sit at home alone in a crumbling house with excitement about a $2 tap fitting. Right? There's nothing else. You're laughing about it because that's what you want.
I've moved house now. I'm in a better house.
Right.
Things are on the up.
Maybe there's more room in the better house.
No, do you know there's less room? It's smaller. I've downsized.
Right,
so the pressure is less.
No, the pressure is actually more.
I meant more.
You just haven't realised that yet. You're adjusting from the pressure by downsizing your house. So yeah. The pressure, which stays the same, is now going to have to fit into a smaller box.
Let it blow.
Right, because you take your mind with you wherever you go. So you're going to be sitting now you had a big house where you could escape the pressure a little bit because you had plenty of room around you. And now everything's symbolic, right? Now you move to a smaller house, taking your same pressurized mind with you and squeezing it into a smaller container, right? Just wait for it. It'll take a minute. Give it another few days and it'll start to wind up.
Also, just a weird thing that's been happening. This is the third time in these meetings. My tongue's getting really stiff.
Right.
I really have gone nuts. I really have.
No, you've been nuts all along. You're going sane now.
Yeah, so I just wanted to mention that.
That's okay. That could be useful for something. You never know what anything's for. So you've got a lot of stuff going on here, right?
Yeah.
Humans. What do you do with humans? Well, it's got to be useful for something. Everything serves a purpose. Right? maybe not the purpose you give, but a higher purpose. You know what's funny about English people? English find jokes funny when they have the word bottom in them, or boobs or something like that. They get an incredible laugh out of that, English people. Where, what the hell? It's that kind of Monty Python sense of humour. Different cultures find different things funny. Anywho, tongue. There's a lot of stuff goes on, you know, like you start doing healing and all sorts of things go on. So I have bits that go stiff too, but it's like not in the same way that your tongue perhaps. There we go. It's out the window, whoop, straight to the gutter.
Anyway, that's me. That's where I am.
Right. So no, but it's kind of important actually about your tongue, because everything's just energy. Everything's energy. It's like, I think it was last week or the week before, you had headaches or whatever, and I was telling you to put your hand there on your throat, and you can feel it in your throat. Right now, your tongue actually connects right down here somewhere, down the back of your throat, and everything being a manifestation of light, of dark light, right? Your body is a manifestation of dark light. Every part of your body is connected to, let's say, a receptor or an interpretation device where it tells you what things are, right? So your tongue sends signals to your brain that says, oh, that tastes good, or that tastes terrible, or whatever. I like that, don't like that. That's hot, that's cold. All these sorts of things. There's millions of little taste buds and everything, right? But these things are just energy. They're just ideas. When you start doing the workbook, when you start reading these little lessons and things like that, you're putting into place a new perspective, a new framework whereby you're looking at those same regular ideas that you once would have equated with things tasting nice, not tasting nice, all sorts of stuff, right? Accordingly, as your mind begins to change regarding that, your body's going to go through changes as well. So don't be surprised if you get a stiff tongue or a headache or whatever it is. Okay, these things come and go. This too shall pass, but it's just a stage. You'll have all sorts of weird things happen in the body. I used to tell guys, it's like you should keep a little log. You know, today, day 10, whatever, stiff tongue, feeling guilty, whatever. You know, it'd make an incredible book of transformation at the end. But no one ever does it. It's like, what's the point? It's meaningless. Good. Stiff tongue, that's a new one in salvation, but it's no anything else. You have to see everything as an act of healing. Right? The Holy Spirit's purpose is healing. Therefore, that's the only purpose that there actually is. You could try to give a story to your tongue about some purpose other than healing, but it wouldn't be true. Right? But if you call it healing for a second and have the faith to allow that healing to proceed along the lines the Holy Spirit sets forth, then the actual reason that your tongue goes stiff when you're doing these lessons and stuff would be revealed to you as you allow it to just be what it is without the examination of it. Okay, which is where we came into it at the start of this lesson. Just leave the story blank. Don't make up a story about your tongue. Right? It's like, oh, there's that thing happening again. I don't know what that is. I'll leave it at that. Okay. And then just have faith. Right? By your faith alone are you healed. You enter the kingdom of heaven through faith. Right? Faith is its own reward. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes on with the body that, man, I remember talking with Christopher. Christopher used to be the director of the Thetford Foundation, and talking with him one day about they started compiling in Wisconsin. They started compiling like a dossier of things that would happen to the guys when they were hanging around Master Teacher, right? So Master Teacher Charles Anderson had his enlightenment at the end of World War II. They sent him in as a photographer to Hiroshima, an army photographer, to take photograph of how effective the bomb was, right? The nuclear bomb. And he stood on the beach. He didn't know what to expect. Nobody knew what anything was going to happen, you know. He stood on the beach with a bunch of other guys and looked at Hiroshima just completely flattened by one bomb, hundreds of thousands of dead people, like just obliterated. And he fell to pieces right there on the beach. He fell to pieces, right? Immediately, he had his enlightenment. He cried out to God to understand, right? He quit the army and everything, and he went and lived in the woods. He moved back to Wisconsin and built himself a little cabin in the woods and just abided his time there. And this is secondhand. I'm telling the story. I don't know it firsthand, so I maybe get things jumbled up a bit. But he abided his time there for quite some time, processing, much as you guys are doing. He didn't have the Course in Miracles. This is pre-Course in Miracles. Processing his own transformation, right? Having seen the revelation of God, processing his own transformation through his own inner guidance, without the lessons, without the workbook, anything, and became very powerful in his own being, became very powerful as a healer by doing that, right? And guys would just start to come to him, right? People would find out about him, and they started coming to him in the woods. And before long, there was a lot of people gathering around him in the woods, so much so that somebody bought the land next to him and they built this healing center for him and like started doing all this stuff, right? And anyway, and it ended up as a whole thing. And I think there's about 300 or 400 guys there at its peak. But they started making a document. Christopher has this manila folder, which is like 2 inches thick of pages, where guys would go through stuff like stiff tongue and whatever, and they just write it all down, and the visions and the epiphanies and whatever that would happen when they were doing the workbook lessons with him and doing meditation with him and stuff like that, right? There's always an increase when you sit with someone who's enlightened, right, in a specific vicinity. There's always an increase in the transfer value, right? That's why when we started doing Zoom, I don't know, it's like, well, I wonder what Zoom's going to be about. Like, theoretically, it shouldn't make any difference because it's just mind, right? But it's kind of effective. But I know from my own experience that something different happens when I work with guys here doing hands-on stuff and other stuff. It's the same sort of stuff, but it's different. It just takes a different format, right? So, but stiff tongue will enter that into the record. That's your... Gemma likes that idea. Put that in there. She can be like the secretary of all these, what do you call it? The what's the person that keeps the files? The clerk? How do you say it? Right. We've got to have one. We have to have a clerk in salvation and keep all the files of what's what. So, Gemma, what's going on? Let's do it. Spit it out.
Hi, Dave.
Hey.
My sinus thing cleared up after our session last week.
Right. Yep. Good.
Yeah, what's going on? You were right. There was kind of a weird lethargic kind of energy kind of going on today, but kind of passing it off as like, oh, I mean, like kind of passing it off as like, oh, just being, that's okay. But kind of when you address that, there was definitely some kind of a bit of a release or something. So yeah, there was definitely something around today. Don't know what that was.
And in general?
In general, had stuff going on relationship wise this week. And just it's been interesting, like witnessing those parts that kind of want to attack and want to like this like going on, but just witnessing that, being present with that, and then as much as I could do, being in just sending love to that person, just doing it with love and compassion as much as I can do with Jesus. That's what I've been trying to do. Yeah.
Right. Who am I sending love to?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Right. You wouldn't have love to send to anyone unless you denied it in the first place.
Okay.
Right. I see a body, I make up a story about a body, and that person needs love. So I think I'm sending love to them. But who denied it? Right. I see all my brothers whole and perfect. They're all learning a lesson they need to learn at the level that they're at, where they're at perfectly. Right. Let me not judge them as being in need of love. That love that I'm seeing as a lack exists only in me.
Okay.
All right. And then liberate my brother from that role that I've asked them to play. All right. So I see something out there. I say, oh, well, that person needs love. It's like that person's a mirror. Always a mirror.
Yeah.
Right? I need love. I don't need to send love to them. I need to accept atonement for myself in this situation. I need to accept the love. There's nothing lacking in that brother. I'm either seeing a story made up in my mind about a body, or I'm looking beyond the body to see the Christ.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, absolutely. I've tried to approach the situation. Okay, there is no situation. It's all coming from my mind. Yeah, okay.
Right, exactly. Right. Remember, your purpose, your goal is inner peace.
Yes.
Your goal is inner peace. Every situation out there is going to give you an opportunity to either join with it in that peaceful place or to restore it to your own mind.
Yeah, I've tried to bring it to the peace. I've tried to be in the peace with it.
Right.
And I can feel that resistance, though. There is no, that wants to hook into the bullshit story and then yeah, but I've not done.
But you've got to give that nit that you get that to God. Okay.
That's God.
No, give it to God.
Give it to God. Yes.
Be still and own it. You have to own it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that nit is part of my old script.
Yeah.
Take this. I'm done. I'm nit. Because you'll see that shows up in all sorts of ways. Just like Anthea being an arsehole in all sorts of different ways. All right. She's not even aware of the other ways that she's an arsehole. Right? It's going to have to come around again and again until the realization of, oh, I'm an arsehole really hits the fan and you really totally feel it to a point where you can heal that in its entirety, not just sort of skim off the surface, right? Same with your nit. You're not a nit. If you had a knife in your hand, you'd be plunging it in, right? It's savage. It's horrible. It's ugly. The ego is vicious, suspicious, cunning, and baffling, right? The nit is what you see on the surface.
Yeah.
I'm an arsehole is what you see on the surface, right? This is a journey into fear. That's why you're learning to become vigilant for the kingdom of heaven, so that when anything disturbs your peace of mind, you become aware of it. Oh, what an arsehole I was. Or, oh, look at me wanting to say something, nick. Right? The fact that you didn't is a good thing, but take responsibility for the nick as well. Otherwise, it becomes simply transcendence rather than transformation. Right? You have to transform your thinking, not just rise above it and choose, otherwise it's still down there knitting away, and you're walking on eggshells until the next situation where it might show up again.
It's really interesting, because that's exactly what, like, the situation that's seemingly playing out again as has played out like identical. And it's like, oh, this is great. I'm being given another opportunity now to approach it differently, which yes. I have been doing. Yeah.
Right. You get to see it. But then you can see it, it's like those cycles. It comes around again and again, come around again and again.
Yeah.
Let's all be kind to Anthea. Ready? Anthea, we're all going to be kind to you now, so you can be an arsehole to us. It's funny, isn't it? It's funny. You have to laugh at yourself, though. You have to learn to laugh at yourself. It's like, man, I remember people call me stuff all the time. Somebody cut out a picture of my head on Facebook off my profile, and they printed the word dickhead across the front, and they sent it to me in my inbox. It's like, because they'd obviously read something I'd written or a video or whatever, and thought, oh, this guy's a dickhead. And they felt so passionate that I was a dickhead that they sent it to me. And I didn't have a reaction to it. I thought it was kind of funny, because I've already accepted in my own thing, I am a dickhead. I've denied God. I've taken a journey to the third dimension to deny God. It was the dumbest idea I've ever had. I'm a real freaking dickhead, right? Not only that, I've been called everything. Crazy. It's like 25 years of people looking at you rolling their eyeballs. It's like nothing affects me anymore. It's just like water off a duck's back. It's like, yes, thank you. I understand how you feel that way. I remember the first time I ever heard somebody talk about transcendental meditation, I thought the guy was off his head. I was about 18. I'd gone around to a friend's place to repay the favor of a carton of beer, and I took this carton of beer for my friend. He wasn't home, and there's this guy sitting up on this veranda doing a meditation thing, and he started telling me, you should come up here and do this meditation with me, and he was being really friendly and whatever, and he says, it's transcendental meditation and we can float. And he was telling me how, like in trance, they can skip and sort of float for a second in the air and all this sort of thing. And I'm thinking, this guy's off his freaking rocker, and something in me wanted to get away from him as quickly as I could. Right? I was totally triggered. But even though he was only offering me a portal into a whole new framework of self-referencing, right, where a whole new spiritual vista would have opened up before me that I might or might not have been interested in, but I wasn't ready for it at the time, right? Now, when things come along, new things come along, and people say, oh, you're this or you're that or whatever, which happens not so often anymore, but it doesn't affect me, because I've already accepted, yep, I am the denial. I am the arsehole. I am the dickhead. I am all of that. I'm also all the good stuff. And quite often, the good stuff is harder to accept than the bad stuff. If I tell you I love you and that you are beautiful and you are incredible and amazing, you might accept it on the surface, but will you really let it in? What, really? Because the last thing that we really want is to love ourselves unconditionally. That's the last thing we want. I love myself unconditionally, then, then what's going to happen? I won't be able to have an excuse to be angry at myself for anything. I'll just keep a little bit of that unconditional love aside for later, just in case Dave's telling me a load of porky pies. So I've been invited on a podcast. I don't know what a podcast is, but I looked at it and it's like this. It's sort of like a Zoom meeting. Does that sound right? Has anyone been on a podcast? Is it on the radio? What's that?
Usually like an internet. It can be, the files can be put onto like other, like YouTube, but it's
okay.
So it's like the radio, but for 2022.
Yeah. I don't exactly know the scope and potential of it, but I'm just saying yes, and we're going to go into it with whatever it is.
Cool.
I'm sure. So James Plath, you guys know him? Is he something over there, an interviewer or something?
I know that person. Why do I know? You know who it is? Vivian?
No, I don't, but he has a channel.
That.
Yeah, he has a pod show or something, or a pod channel. I don't even know what they call it.
That name is probably it's an internet thing.
Yeah, it's internet thing. I don't think it's actual television.
Or the radio.
Or the radio. No, the radio, I meant TV, not radio. So, okay. So Vivian, what's happening with you? Let's get to it.
Well, my days are spent thinking about what I need to do physically to change my situation, and then also trying to ignore it as if it doesn't exist. So I go back and forth between the two extremes. And I'm always trying to figure out some kind of workaround or something, because I know that spirit is mind, and the body doesn't exist, and yet the body looms large at the moment. And if I don't take care of it, I won't be here to do the other stuff. So it's like, I don't know. I live in a big world of extremes.
Unless you live by faith alone, you shall not enter the kingdom of heaven.
I know.
Unless you live by faith alone, you shall not enter the kingdom of heaven. Unless you live by faith alone, you shall not enter the kingdom of heaven. Faith is all you have, Vivian. Faith. It's all you have. Say it to me. Faith is all I have.
Faith is all I have.
Now, live from that. Right there. You know faith is all you have. Right? You like to entertain all these other options, all these other ideas, but you know that none of those are faith. Faith can't be defined. It can't be put into a category. You can't say this is faith and that's not faith. Faith is faith. Tina, you're black, your body. Look at that. I just noticed. That's bizarre. That's bizarre. I just noticed you're black. Isn't that weird?
It is weird. Seriously?
Seriously. I've looked at you for like forever. Like I must have been seeing the Christ, and then I just saw your arm and how dark it is, and I thought,
oh yeah.
Crazy.
It's become darker. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Rosie used to go dark in summer too. Yeah. Rosie used to colored her skin, and then she'd go out in the sun and she'd become almost black, like our Aborigines here, like black, and then in winter she'd go like coffee color again. But
me too.
I noticed it. That's bizarre.
That is bizarre. Well,
It
cool. I'm glad you
bizarre.
saw the Christ.
Yeah.
That's better.
The Christ beyond. So Vivian, breathe. Close your eyes. Close your eyes.
No, I was holding my breath.
Close your eyes. Breathe. God will present you with an opportunity for faith that you can understand. It's already in front of you. The approach to it is something that you're looking at The approach to it is something you're trying to work out. Imagine it to be like a precipice, and you have to step off the precipice and have faith that God will catch you. Right? You're standing there looking for God. You're looking over the edge. Where's God? I don't think God's even here yet. What if I jump and he's late? What if I step off the precipice and God's busy doing something else? Ye of little faith. Right? You have to look at that idea. I'm trying to project onto God what I think is possible and not possible. I'm trying to define God under my own auspices. I'm trying to give God a value to justify what I think my faith is capable of. Right? But there's no limit to the miracle. Right? There is no order of difficulty in miracles, and you are entitled to miracles. Whatever you're looking at, it doesn't matter whether it seems to be small or seems to be massive. It doesn't matter anything. Right? You're entitled to miracles. Stop trying to seek assurances for the miracle and just step off the cliff. Stop trying to seek assurances for what you think the miracle is capable of doing for you and just take the leap. Here I am, Lord. I don't know how to do this, but I'm not going to do that. All right? All my stories, all my excuses, all my potential things that I think could possibly save me or get me out of this situation, whatever it is. I don't want any of those. None of them. You got to let go of the whole lot and take a leap of faith. It may be that one of those actually turns up to be the thing that saves you, or that turns up to be, but it's not going to be of your own making. Okay? It may be Mr. Smith or something else is going to come and go, hey, Vivian, blah, 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 and everything's all better again, right? But you've got to let go of all hope, right? Give up all hope, all ye who enter here. Hope is the denial of certainty, okay? Hope is the denial of certainty, and God's promise is certain. If you're still sitting there hoping God will come to save you, or hoping that there's some kind of avenue for you that's, you know, then you're denying the perfection of the miracle. Give up hope. Give it up. It's a fool's paradise. Breathe. Right. Breathe. Good. Don't adjust. Just breathe. Let that happen. Go on, go deeper. Get into it. Give it up. Give it up. Let it go. It can't help you, Vivian. None of your stories, none of your back doors, none of your safety nets. They can't help you. There's a 6-foot hole with a pine box in it at the end of the road, regardless of which way you go. You're either going to be in that box or not in that box. You're either going to be in that box or you're going to be with Jesus. Which one do you want? Which one do you want? Choose. One is faith. The other one is, I can do this. I'll work it out eventually. Breathe. Come on, push, push. Go deeper, Vivian. Feel it. Feel what you're trying to avoid. Feel it. Feel what you're resisting. Feel it. Let it in. It's only the love of God. I feel the stirring of his strength in me. But yeah, let me just define it as doubt. Let me just define that as hope. It's God. It doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter anything else what you put on it. It's still going to be God, even when you're in the 6-foot box. Let it go. Gemma, let it go. Anthea, stiff tongue, let it go. Oh, she's gone completely. Vinka, let it go. That's going to be your Viking name from now on, Anthea. Anthea Stiff Tongue. I'm Anthea Stiff Tongue of the small house that does not leak. Oh, you got to have fun, haven't you? You got to have fun in your salvation. Oh, Vivian, you got to have fun in your salvation. You ready? Breathe. Breathe. Give up hope. Give it up. Let it go. Live in faith. Hope or faith. Hope or faith. Hope or faith. Hope or faith. That's it. Breathe. It's a choice. I'm choosing love or I'm choosing God knows what, but it's not love. Okay? I hope this happens. I hope that happens. No. Nothing's going to happen but more opportunities for you to sit there hoping. There's no limit to the miracle. It healed me of cancer. If I had chosen the chemotherapy like the doctors wanted me to take, I wouldn't be here now. It would have got me. I would have died. I would have been like, no body. I would have had to come all the way back around through the bardo, wait for someone else to and then bring another body and I could go into that. Right? That's horrible. It's a horrible process. You don't want to do it again. Squishing out that birth canal, your head goes like, ah! You wonder why babies cry when they come out. Right? They're pointy heads. It's ugly. The human, look, it stinks. You don't wash it for a few days. It's just like, do you really want to be doing this again? Really? Yeah, but next time at the supermarket, they might have a better spray deodorant that smells beautiful. Lasts for 4 days. Who knows? Like that hope, you know, it doesn't matter. It's ridiculous, isn't it? It's complete. The whole thing's ridiculous. Things we hope for. I hear that somebody's bringing out a new incense that lasts for 5 hours. It's like, oh my God. Oh, I hope that comes to our country. The funniest little things, you know, spiritual domain, they're even more funny. They're even more ridiculous. Vivian, by faith alone are you healed.
What?
By your faith alone are you healed. By your faith alone are you healed. Let that in. By your faith alone are you healed. Are you willing to forgive? Say no. Say no. Go on, that's more honest than yes. No, I'm not willing to forgive. I'm an arsehole. Where's Anthea? Anthea, stiff tongue of the arsehole tribe. I'm not willing to forgive. It literally takes a miracle, Vivian. Right? It takes a miracle. I needed a miracle to even want a miracle. Right? God's forgiveness, you must be crazy. Why would I want that? I'm in the process of denying God. I don't even know why I'm sitting here in this Zoom meeting listening to people talking about love through forgiveness. Right? I'm the thing denying it. I am what the block to love is. My own idea of myself, opposed to the Christ vision or God's vision of me. You got to.
What I'm mad at.
Huh?
He's the one I'm mad at.
Of course you are. That's good. That's honest. Thanks for that. You want to blame God instead of you. Right. God has no clue about Vivian. God knows not of the world. God doesn't know there's a Vivian. God doesn't know there's a Cuckoo Cachoo, a Dear One's Room, an Anthea, a Gemma, or a Vinca. God has no idea about that. God only knows itself in you, in me, in everyone. The idea of a Vivian is the illusion that the mind places over, you know. It's a veil trying to hide from God. It's a very technical veil. It's very clever, I think, but you know, when you realize what it represents, it's really kind of like, oh, my tongue's going stiff. You got to laugh at these things. You got to, you know, it's like, oh man, what an idiot I've been, right? What an idiot I am. Why did I come to this dimension? Why didn't I just shut up and stay home with everybody in eternity? You know, one tiny mad idea and whoop, look where I am. Everybody's looking around. It's like, where did Vivian go? She was here a second ago. Where is she? It's like, oh, she's asleep. God only knows that you're asleep and that you have to wake up. That's it. This is the process inside the dream. So, you know, in The Matrix, have you seen the movie The Matrix? So you haven't? Vivian, your homework is to watch The Matrix, all 3 episodes. It's a staple. It's like you have, it's required viewing. It says in the back of the course, watch The Matrix, required viewing. It's in the fine print, the super fine print, the divine fine print. You won't be able to read it with these eyes, but it's there. Right? So watch The Matrix. So in The Matrix, the guy, Neo, the lead character, he's in the dream. He doesn't know it's a dream. He's got people outside the dream trying to contact him through the dream, right? I'm outside the dream trying to contact you in the dream saying, Vivian, this is what's happening. And you're looking at the dream going, having a thing, right? And I'm saying, don't worry about all of that. It's outside the dream. I'm waking up. It's time to leave, right? It's time to take the pill. And you're like, yeah, but I'm angry for being in the dream. It's like, what's the point of being angry for being in the dream? You're being offered your awakening from it right now. I'm angry at God. I'm going to stay in the dream just so I can be angry at God. It's stupid, I know. Is your tongue going stiff?
Maybe.
Right. Oh, it's all stupid. It's all dumbass stupid, right? The whole thing. Even your best thinking here is stupid. It's all within the dream, right? Better to not have any thinking about it, leave the space blank and let something happen that's not of you, which we're going to call a miracle, right? Just to give it a word. We could call it the boom shanka. We could call it, it doesn't really matter as long as it's not you, right? That's going to require faith. I don't know how to get out of this situation, but let me just write down all my possible things that could help me get out of this situation. And then I'll choose one, or maybe it'll be that one, or maybe it'll be that one. Maybe it'll be right. So no, forget all of that. I don't know how to get out of this situation. I'm just going to have to let it be a miracle, right? You're learning to become miracle-minded, Vivian. You're learning to become miracle-minded, Vivian. You're learning to become miracle-minded. Say it to me.
I'm learning to become miracle-minded, Vivian.
Right, good. Now, stay there in that place where you're learning to become miracle-minded, and the opportunities to practice miracle-mindedness will become obvious to you. If you're not even aware of what it is that you're learning to become in any given situation, you're going to miss the opportunity, right? I'm learning to become miracle-minded. Now, let me carry that awareness that I'm learning to become miracle-minded into the situations that will show up for me in my day, and the ones where I require a miracle are going to become obvious, right? Perhaps at first I'm going to want to try to step back and solve it on my own, right? But hang on a minute. I've remembered that I've told myself I'm learning to become miracle-minded. Why would I want to do that, right? And don't over-spiritualize everything. I mean, some things you don't need a miracle. Some things are just simple. Some things you just know there's this inner prompting, right? But in the places where you have no choice, in the places where, what the hell am I going to do? I'm going to let it be miraculous. Now, you only need a couple of those miraculous moments, and they kind of like join up. You only need a few things to shift miraculously in your life, and you start to get this kind of sense of how it is that your faith supports you, right? But until you're willing to actually take a leap of faith, you're not going to know what that is. You're not going to know what that feels like, right? It's like when people go on a pilgrimage, all right? So the what's that trail that goes, it's like 900 kilometers. Anthea, you've done it. What's that bloody, not the Appalachian Trail. Is it the Appalachian Trail or something? Where they follow in the path of St. Francis, right? From Italy down into Spain, over the mountains. But the first guy that did that, I mean, maybe not St. Francis, but the first person that did that did it in faith. They took nothing with them. So Jesus says to the disciples, bring one robe. Do not even bring a staff. Just bring one robe and follow me. Don't bring money. Don't bring nothing, right? Live in faith. Trust that you'll be supported. Okay, now, Einstein said nature abhors a vacuum. Nature abhors a vacuum, which means there is an emptiness or there is a lack, it will be filled naturally. Okay? An emptiness or a lack will be filled naturally. If you're still trying to determine how to fill that lack, you're not letting it happen. You're actually preventing it from happening because it's your mind that the lack is in, not out there. Okay? The lack exists as an idea in your mind. I see lack. But if God is everything, how can there possibly be lack? As above, so below on earth. If God's will is done on earth, how is it possible I'm seeing lack or emptiness or whatever in a situation instead of love, instead of fulfillment, instead of everything I need to be happy in this moment, right? That's going to take faith. I need to learn to become miracle-minded, not Vivian-minded. I'm learning to think along the lines of universal flow rather than the flow of limitation or the nature of limitation that I previously existed in as this body identity thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's a whole other sphere.
I try to do that.
No, you don't.
I consider the story and I rehearse the ideas of faith and miracle and of being normal and being on two levels. What's normal? Yeah, you know, like Tim Wapnick says, just be normal. You know,
whoever said just be normal is an idiot. There's no such thing as normal, right? What the hell is normal? What are you going to try to live up to? Another version of the insane. In this world, Vivian, there's no such thing as normal. All right? You're perfect as God created you. As above, so below. Even in the form, you're perfect.
But
right?
The form...
Perfect. You're perfect right now. That's what normal is. Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's it. Everything else is going to be a temptation to believe perhaps that you're not normal, not perfect, right? Normality in this world, in this frame of reference, is total insanity. When you've accepted the total insanity of it and your own insanity included into that, that's normal here. It's like, oh, I see, everything's crazy. We're in an asylum. This is God's nut house. We're all inmates in the nut house. We're all crazy. That's what normal is in this place. Okay, cool. Now I can relax. I've stopped trying to work out what normal is compared to other things that I think are not normal. Right? I'm schizophrenic. That person's something delusional. That person's whatever, trauma, blah, blah, blah. Everybody. And we try to define all the things and we try to framework ourselves within that as being none of those things and being normal. That's never going to work. You got to realize
you have to take care of the form though, right? I mean, you have to feed it and I don't know, breathe. And
so dear one used to say, put food in the mouth, put clothes on the body, and then forget about it. Right? Let God take care of it. All these ideas of nutrition, all these ideas of health and vitamins and all this crap. It's like, you don't need that.
I had a
2-pound bag of gelatin lollies for dinner last night. Snakes, snakes and those little pineapples and little gummy bear men, and things. That's what I had for dinner. Because that's what I wanted for dinner. You know what I had for breakfast? Nothing yet, but I'm probably just going to have cereal or something stupid. Right? It doesn't matter what you eat. It doesn't matter what anything. You trying to decide I've got to take care of it is getting in the way of it being a self-fulfilling, a self-healing organism. You get a little tiny paper cut on your finger, it'll heal by itself. You don't need to run like a crazy thing trying to fix it. You may put a Band-Aid on, but it'll heal itself. You only put the Band-Aid on because you don't want to get blood all over your good clothes. Right? Right? Your mind, if you let it, heals automatically of itself. Right? You're in a process now of healing. You've aligned with the Holy Spirit. You've invited the Holy Spirit in. Hopefully you have. You've invited the Holy Spirit in to abide with you. Now, trust that. Have faith in that. Breathe in that. Feel that. Right? If you get in a car wreck, go to the hospital, get patched up, obviously. Right? But be vigilant in your mind if you're making up this regimen of like, oh, I have to have vitamin A, I've got to have vitamin B, blah, 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 blah. Right? I'm not telling you don't take all those things, but just look at it in the light of miracle-mindedness. How miraculous am I being? I'm trying to set up all these agendas for my well-being because I think I'm a body. Yet Jesus is telling me I'm not a body. If I live from my spirit, everything just flows. Right? Now, do you have enough faith to live that way? I don't know. But faith is its own reward and you have to start somewhere. Right? And you find at some point, it's like with alcohol, drugs and everything else. So when I first came to A Course in Miracles, I was a heavy pot smoker every day, all day, right? I was stoned out of my head all day, every day. I couldn't really deal with life. I didn't like smoking pot. It made me feel a bit paranoid, a bit weird and whatever, but it was better than having to listen to the babble in my head, right? Alcohol, same thing. I'd given it up. I'd forced myself to give it up because I knew it wasn't doing me any good about 3 months before my awakening, right? But I still had the tendency to want to use it as a crutch, right? Vitamins and everything else is the same thing. I think I'm a body, I need a crutch, whatever, right? So, but it fell away naturally as my faith increased, as I became more dependent on God, more miracle-minded. I just realized I haven't had a drink for ages. I don't need alcohol. It just kind of went. It just kind of was lifted from me by grace, right? I used to have some vitamins and things like that. It's like, I don't take them anymore. I think there's a jar of vitamin something or other sitting up there on the shelf. C, I think it is.
I have 3 baskets of them right here.
Right. But look at that. That's all your old script, right? That's all the story of Vivian. You can't step into the new story dragging the remnants of your old story with you. We're in a process now of looking at our old story under the acceptance of the new premise, right? Jesus is telling you, you're whole and perfect. Now, let's look at everything you believe against that. Yeah, but I believe I'm a body and I need vitamins. I believe this, that, and the other. And if I don't take my vitamins, whatever, right? Your body's a temporary learning device anyway. I'm telling you that your lack of faith, represented by being able to keep yourself afloat with vitamins and whatever, is not doing you any service, right? But me telling you that isn't the solution to your problem. You actually accepting that for yourself is the solution to your problem. When you do that is up to you, but it's going to always be a leap of faith. It's going to require a leap of faith. Okay? Maybe you'll take 3 buckets of things and throw them in the bin. Maybe you'll just wean yourself. I don't know what it'll look like. I've got no idea, but it's going to have to be miraculous either way.
I do know that that's the path that I've been facing.
Right.
You know, and like when I discovered, you know, what was going on, and I show up at the doctor's office and he's telling me all of these different things.
Right.
And I didn't want to do what he said to do.
Right. Follow your heart. Follow your heart.
But then
the love of God.
While I was listening to him, his voice actually went away, and I saw the word trust across his face. And so I said, okay, I'm going to do what you said, you know.
Right.
And I just said, okay, you know, I didn't want to have surgery. And then I did, you know, because, okay. And then afterwards, you know, show up again and he's, you know, haranguing. He says, oh, this and this, and you got to do this, and you got to do the chemo, and you got to do all that stuff. And I looked at him and I said, no.
Good.
You know,
right.
So I'm trying to hear that voice, but I just, you know, so, and every day, you know, no, I'm not going to do the chemo, but, you know, now I have all these voices saying, well, you need this high dose melatonin, and you need this benzodiazole, and you need all of this kind of stuff. And I'm going, wait. So it's like I spend my day going, what? You know, just going, what? Listening for the voice, just going, what? and I don't always hear the voice, you know, but.
Yeah, you do. You heard it before. You said no.
I know, exactly.
Right, and now, ready? Stay there. You don't need to hear the voice again. You've heard the voice.
Yeah.
Don't deny that you heard it.
Okay. I don't deny it. I mean, I feel my whole life has been that.
Stop.
Yeah.
All that story that you've got going on, let it go. No. Let it go. All of that story, let it go. You heard the voice tell you no, and you reacted to it, and you said no. Now, stay there where you said no and have faith.
Okay.
Right? At some point, your body's just going to rot and the worms are going to eat it anyway. The only thing that should concern you is what happens after that. What happens when I lay this body down? It doesn't matter when you lay it down. No. Whether you're 100 years old, whether you're 80 years old, 50, whatever, it doesn't matter. All that matters is what happens after that.
Yeah, it's not the death that I'm afraid of.
There's nothing to be afraid of. When you enter the bardo, it's like going to the welfare office. It's very boring. You have to sit around all the time, right? Trust me, I know this, right? You have to sit around for ages, right? Somebody will come to you and take you to the assessment office. I don't know. It's hard to call it an office because it's not really an office. And you'll check on the progress that you've made on your spiritual journey on earth. All right? If you've made an advance, the opportunity is to go forward. If you haven't, you'll have to come back and repeat the lesson.
I don't want to repeat.
Right? Right. You don't want to repeat the lesson. So let's learn together now. Okay? Let's learn the lesson together now that our interests are not separate. My interest is to see beyond the story of a Vivian with pills and whatever and chemo and whatever. The same way I had to see beyond my own story of chemo back in when I was 30 years old. Okay. Now, I've done it in me. I know you can do it in you because the same power of mind in me is in you. All right. And this is the moment together where we do that. This is that holy instant where we say yes to that together. Okay. Vivian, I love you.
David, I love you.
Have faith, okay? All of that other story, everything else going on, when it shows its ugly head, give it to God. Stay in the faith. Walk with Jesus. Jesus who heals the blind. Jesus who healed the leper. Jesus who divided the loaves and the fishes. Worker of miracles. The head of the atonement. Jesus who described the Course in Miracles through Helen. Stay with Jesus. In the face of everything this world is going to tempt you with. Box loads of pills and vitamins. Stay with Jesus. Stay with me. Stay with your brothers who are in Christ, who are in this. All in this together. I don't get out of here without you, and you don't get out of here without me.
Exactly.
Okay? Now, have faith. What's facing you could be something enormous, right, to you. Because there's a fear of death in you. There's a fear of love in you. There's all this stuff. But the miracle is not limited by your idea of what's fearful to you or not. It flows over all things, making the way clear, making the path accessible. Okay? When you cross the threshold between this version of reality and the next one, I will be there. Just like Morpheus in the Matrix. You're going to have to watch the Matrix now to understand it. When Neo woke up from the dream, when Neo woke up from the Matrix, he met Morpheus in the Matrix, but he also met Morpheus outside the Matrix. Okay? I'm telling you, I'm already outside the Matrix. I'm using the Zoom in the Matrix to tell you that there's nothing to worry about. Everything's organized. Everything's sorted. Just have faith. Let go of the fear. Let go of the doubt. Let go of the fear. Let go of the doubt. You're learning to become miracle-minded. You don't need to heal your body of cancer. You need to heal your mind of the fear of death that is manifesting as cancer in you right now, right? All of that. You're going to do that in faith. You're going to do that by saying yes to God. Here I am, Lord. And refusing to adjust to that. Here I am, Lord. God is the flow of life in you. I feel the stirring of his strength in me. God is the flow of life in you. The everlasting spring, the wellspring of eternal youth. Life, whatever, in you. It's in you now, Vivian, not something in the future. It's in you now. Close your eyes and breathe. Breathe. Feel. Try to feel. Try to get a sense of something beyond yourself, a connection with the universe. I'm one with all things. There's something in me that I'm told is eternal. I want to find it now. Breathe. Breathe. Get out of your head and into your heart. Get out of your head. Feel it. Feel it in your chest. Can you feel that? All right. I'm going to put my hand on your chest right now. You ready? Can you feel it? Does it feel warm? Don't examine it with your head. Feel it. Get out of your head, Vivian. Look up. Look up. Look up to the ceiling. Close your eyes. Look up to the ceiling. Look up. 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 Raise your head. Breathe. Feel. Here I am, Lord. Yes. Now stay there. Stay right there. Breathe. Breathe. Let it happen. Feel it. Let it happen. Get out of your head. Feel. Stay in your heart space. Stay in your heart space. Look up at the ceiling. Look up. Lift your chin up, Vivian. Lift your chin up. Tilt your head right back, far as it'll go. Tilt your head right far as it'll go. Breathe. Here I am, Father. Here I am. I'm willing to forgive. I'm willing to let go of my old story. I'm learning to become miracle-minded. Just listen. Just listen. You don't need to repeat it. Just listen. I'm learning to become miracle-minded. Breathe. Feel. Gemma, feel. Stiff tongue, feel. Ready? Here. Tina, here. Vinka, feel. You ready? Here I am. I feel the stirring of his love in me. This is a journey of faith. It's faith or nothing at all. It's a journey of faith or nothing at all. It's a journey of faith or nothing at all. Good. Good. That's good, Vinka. Stay there. Stay there. Feel it. Let that happen. It goes deep. Let it happen. Don't adjust to your pain. Breathe. Vivian, breathe. In through your nose, out through the top of your head. Anthea, breathe. Tina, look down. Look down. Feel. Yes, good. Stay there. Stay right there. Here I am, Lord. Here I am, Lord. Good. Gemma, don't go astral. Feel in your body. Feel your body. Stay grounded. Take a deep breath. Deep, 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 deep breath in and out. Another one. Deep breath in and out. Good. Relationship stuff. Everything is relationship stuff. You're in one relationship with God. It shows up as many ways, in many situations. It shows up in many seemingly separate relationships, but it's one relationship. My relationship with this person is a reflection of my relationship with God. My relationship with that person is a reflection of my relationship with God, because there is only God. Everything is your mirror, showing you where that relationship needs to be healed. In you, not in the other person. In you. I need a miracle. I see a lack of love in someone else. Therefore, I could not see it unless I was looking from a lack of love in me. When I see with the vision of Christ, I see only love. I see only perfection. I see only the animating force, the creative source. Breathe. Good. Stay grounded. Stay in your body. Stay where it affects you. Don't try to get transcendent with it and rise above it and pretend it's all okay. Stay where it hurts. I feel this. I call this feeling emotions. I call this feeling whatever, but it's actually miracle waiting to occur. It's a miracle impulse. The ego is always going to want to label it something else. I feel bad. I feel miserable. I feel alone. I feel something. No, I feel. I feel. I feel the stirring of his strength in me. I will not call it something else. I will not project all my shit out onto the universe and try to define it by what I feel. I'm just going to let the feeling be pure feeling.